What's up, guys? It's Emily with the Azura Media Club back again for another video. Here we're at the home of the bad girl coven. We're doing Jingle All the Way. Uh, Another classic Christmas movie. Uh, Debated, contested Christmas movie. Is this not is it a Christmas movie, but is it a good Christmas movie? That's the theme, you know? It's like everyone seems to not like this one for some reason. I think it all stemmed from that Nostalgia Critic review several years ago, or I don't know, something like that. I mean, I know it's a little campy, it's a little cheesy, it's a little fucking like, Arnold Schwarzenegger. The acting's not always the best, but I just think it's a solid Christmas movie, and it embodies a lot of the elements of the Christmas spirit. Again, family, togetherness. It shows consumerism is a bad thing. The movie is constantly mocking the idea of consumerism, and I like that. That's what I like about the movie. Other than like the humor and stuff, about the themes of the movie, I should say, is I can always use as an example of like why this like consumerist part of Christmas is real bad. It's like look what it does to people. All he wanted was to get the Turbo Man doll for his kid, right? He forgot to do it. That was his mistake, and he's trying to make up for that mistake. He's a busy man. He's putting food on this kid's table, putting Turbo Man themed things in his room, and all this fucking superhero stuff. It's an expensive, sort of taste this kid has that his dad has accrued for him. The fucking like wallpaper, or like I don't know what that is, like the vinyls and decals or whatever in the background, like that's Captain America and shit. That's fucking cool. That's like, you had that shit in the 90s, you would have been like the most badass kid. He has like a whole Hulk bedspread. Like, this kid's got it, and Howard should have got the doll to begin with. Yes. Yeah, we all know that. He forgot. He was busy. Holiday seasons are really busy, especially in retail and stuff. He works as like this mattress guy. But, like he's doing his best, but he's also not doing his best. He's trying, but he doesn't make it to the karate match thing, where his son's getting his new belt and whatnot. He realizes he hasn't been there as a good father lately. Now he wants to fix that by getting this Turbo Man. He kind of learns that after that first part there, and now that I feel like his responsibilities at work are done and he finally has time to do this stuff, and these Turbo Men, I guess, or they say the plural of Turbo Mans, are sold out, and they're everywhere, and everyone keeps laughing at him, and it's so cruel. Everyone's like, ha, don't you know, Turbo Man's the most popular toy on the planet. We're assholes, like, he tries to go out and get this Turbo Man and he can't, and that's the whole point of the movie. It's like apparently based on this like Cabbage Patch thing, like back in the day, Coleco. We made the Coleco vision for my video game fans out there. But anyway, so he just wants to make it right. He wants to get this Turbo Man. That's what he thinks. That's what he thinks is gonna fix everything. And at first, that would kind of fix everything. But by the end of the movie, he realizes it's not about the Turbo Man. I mean, it's a little bit, In his head, he thinks the Turbo Man is the important thing. But by the end of the movie, he realizes his kid just wants him there. Even if, he doesn't get the Turbo Man, I think he would have been disappointed about that for sure, at first. But by the end of the movie, he makes this bold decision. I like this, that even if he hadn't got this Turbo Man somehow, I think the message would have still been there. Maybe the kid would have forgiven him, wouldn't have been a big deal, or, whatnot, or would have been like a Christmas story where he's like disappointed, but, he's not going to take it out on his dad. He's just glad his dad is there spending time with him. I think that's what he would really want, more so than the Turbo Man doll. So, and I know that would be kind of like the bare minimum effort, but Howard's trying to do it all. Because that's what he tries to do, sometimes. So, he's trying this. He's got this asshole neighbor, fucking Phil Hartman, rest in peace, I mean, I think this is like one of his later movies, which is just, this is so sad. I mean, that guy, of course he plays this like entirely scumbag like sort of character in this movie, but like that guy, he was a good guy, he was comedic gold. He deserved better. Anyway, and so his neighbor's always trying to show him up. Of course, he's got Johnny, the kid, his Turbo Man, Jamie's friend there. Also, Jake Lloyd got a raw end of the stick after this movie, when he got Star Wars. I mean, that's great and everything, but then after Star Wars, he just fucking... people railed on him for it. It's just like, man, just chill out, guys. Like, for reals. Like, okay, so you didn't like the Star Wars movie. It's not his fault. He was just a little kid, Like, what was he gonna do? Like, so yeah, maybe he's not a great actor, but like, he's a kid. Stop blaming the kid. Like, Star Wars was bad because, or, mediocre because George Lucas made it that way, not because Jake Lloyd did anything. Because of acting, you think that was really what was gonna save the movie? I mean, no. So anyway, not talking about that. Just needed a brief mention because, of course, these are his two most popular roles. So anyway, this, so he's trying to make it up to his kid. He goes all over the place. There's this other guy, Myron, played by Sinbad. And, he's trying to be his friend the whole time. And he's just like, I don't want anything to do with you. They share a couple of moments where it's like a nice bonding over trying to get this toy or whatever. But, it's mostly a rivalry at the end of the day. And then there's this scene where they're at this like cafe or whatever. And he's like, I never got this Johnny 7 like gun thing as a kid. And that fucked me up because like the guy who got it, that was my neighbor, he's a billionaire now. And like this like puts it all into perspective apparently for Howard. Like that's not, he still hasn't gotten at this point. Like I think his character arc is to get that it's not about the Turbo Man doll, it's about Jamie. You should be there for your kid, I mean, it's great that at the end of the movie, he is Turbo Man, he's decked out in the suit. That was kind of a coincidence, and that he got the Turbo Man doll. But it did get him to a place where he could realize, hey, I'm the Turbo Man, It's like, I'm the one who Jamie wants, to be there. Now, does he want us also this toy? Of course. I mean, everyone wants the toy, right? But at the end of the day, he needs his father there. And I think that's the important part. And I think, if he doesn't have his father there, it could end up kind of like a Ted situation, maybe. And there's a moment there, there's a scary moment where you're like, oh man, are his parents like done? Are they gonna get a divorce? But of course, like, that doesn't happen, because we have to have a happy ending to this like comedy movie, right? But it gets a little dark there for a second. Not dark, but like, for their relationship, for him and his wife's relationship. He like yells at his kid this one time, when he's at the cafe actually, about the Turbo Man thing, because he's tried everything to get one, and his kid yells back for a second, and then actually later at the parade, he's like talking to Turbo Man, like his dad, and he's like, oh man, we had a fight, and it was just, I shouldn't have yelled at him, and I just feel so bad about that. It's just like, you feel that, like, it's like, oh, he wasn't actually mad, he was mad at his dad for not being there. I mean, but he's over it. He just wants his dad. He just wants that to be resolved. And, so it kind of has a nice ending there where they both realize, I mean, well, Howard is the one who has to realize, but, he realizes his son's the most important part. And everything's kind of good again, despite everything that's happened. But the rest of the movie is just like kind of a ridiculous run around to try to get this doll. And, you know, so he goes to all these places, there's all these ridiculous things like, this one is like raffling off the Turbo Man, like a couple of Turbo Mans, I don't know, dolls. Um, and they have these little balls that have numbers on them, and they just like throw this bucket up into the air with the balls, and the balls like fly all over the place, and the one like goes and he chases it all across the Mall of America, and like this little kid has it, and then like he's trying to get it from the kid. It's a whole chase sequence. See, where in Polar Express that was kind of a downside, like these like action-y scenes outside of that. That's kind of like more in this movie's wheelhouse, I feel like, is like something like that. That's what I don't really consider that filler, because it is ultimately going towards the message, or the main thing of him trying to get this Turbo Man, right? Like that works, I feel like. Yeah, does it go a little bit overboard at a couple places? Sure. You know, I may have went a little overboard a couple places. Bringing up Star Wars again. Like these people like strip his car for parts and stuff. Like when they're like chasing each other, Myron and him, to like this this radio tower, because the announcement was like, oh, we have a Turbo Man, but they don't actually have a Turbo Man. They just have a gift certificate for a Turbo Man. Also, he takes the gift certificate, and that never amounts to anything. I guess that's just like our ticket to be like, okay, well, Jamie will probably get a Turbo Man later because of the gift certificate thing. But also, they threaten that guy with a bomb. Like, does that not like go anywhere? I like how the whole movie, every time he's like trying his best, this cop keeps stopping him, right? Or at first he tracks him down for speeding, and then he like knocks over his bike, his motorcycle there, and then he like spills coffee on the guy, and like all this stuff to this cop, and then at the end he's like, we could use a man like you on the force, and he just turns around like as Turbo Man, and he's like, and the guy's just like, oh no. He's like, sorry about the thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and he just like turns around and walks away. Yeah. So there's a lot of good comedy in the movie too. But I feel like it also has a heart at the core of it there. And it reflects onto the, you know, darkness of consumerism too, I feel like, in a sense. But through comedy. It's not dark or anything. But, it's like consumerism is a dark thing, so. And I feel like it utilizes Christmas music well, even in the score. Like, this is all great, you know? This is all really nice. I like this. I don't actually know who did the score for this one, but sure, somebody decent. So yeah. Just a lot of antics about him trying to get this Turbo Man. So that's kind of the whole movie. But like, I don't know. It's charming. I like it. I mean, am I gonna say it's like the greatest Christmas movie ever or anything? No, but I'd be lying if I say I don't watch it every year and have a good time with it, because I think it's a good movie. I don't think it deserves most of the hate that it gets. Like I could see a couple of the criticisms, but it's not. It's just meant to be a fun comedy, friendly, family friendly sort of movie, to show us that we all need to come together at the end of the day for Christmas, and stop worrying so much about the gifts. It's not about that, I might have missed it, but I maybe it's like the post credits or something too. They don't do post credits at this point, though, right? There's I think maybe it's even in the extended cut, because I got the Blu-ray now finally, and there was a version on there that said like extended cut, but I remember there was a scene like at the end where his wife's like, "Wow, if you went through all that trouble for him, I wonder what you got for me," and he's like, he makes the same face that he does when he realizes he never got the fucking Turbo Man or whatever. So like. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. Anyway, I would like to see what the differences are between the theatrical and extended cut, because there's probably some scenes that I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that before, but just didn't remember they were in there. But I would say it's a great Christmas movie overall, and if you haven't seen it, you should see it because it's good. Um, and honestly, for the most part, I mean, there's a couple of scenes, but you know, some Christmas movies overdo it with like the schmaltiness of like, you know, their message and stuff, and it just feels a little too wholesome. But this I feel like this strikes a nice wholesome and not balance, you know. A little bit of naughty, a little bit of nice, you know. So um, it's just a fun movie and a fun family movie. I think it's great. I think it's definitely one of my more favorite Christmas movies. Um, I watch it every year. It used to be on TV a lot. You know, that was kind of a thing. It wasn't like 24/7 like the friggin' Christmas Story. Did they still do that where they play Christmas Story 24/7? They still have to do that, right? It's on at some point on TBS. Is TBS still a thing? I don't watch TV anymore, alright? So, I don't know if TBS is... I would assume they're still a thing. Anyway. Yeah, Jingle All the Way. There was a sequel with fucking... What's his face? Larry the Cable Guy, which I hear is just awful. But this one's good, so just... It's great. Check it out. 9.4 out of 10. I did it. There you go. Alright. Until next time. Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. It's already past that at this point, but you know, Merry New Year's. Happy New Year's, I guess it would be, but you know, like, I'm gonna say it. Merry New Year's. Nobody ever says that. People say Happy Christmas in, like, Britain and stuff. Like, why does no one say Merry New Year's? Why no Merry New Year's, you know? Like, so, anyway. Till next time, this has been Emily saying, magic comes from the heart, and I'll see you in the next one. Emily, out.